Could a single piece of legislation have made a difference in Ferguson? Our next guest thinks yes, it could. Joining us is Missouri Representative Brandon Ellington. We are here at the World War I Museum. I am Jill Jensen and we welcome you.
No, thank you.
Tell me about the piece of legislation that you think could have made a difference had it passed.
Well, I know it would have made a difference. The piece of legislation that I filed last year that I'm definitely going to file this year would have required all law enforcement agencies in the state of Missouri to have video and audio equipment on them. So when we talk about the shooting that happened up in Ferguson, there wouldn't have been no question because you would have seen directly from the officer's chest what happened and you would have heard the audio from what was happening.
You've been to Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
What did you find when you were there?
I was shocked at the blatant lack of civil rights protection that was actually implemented. I was shocked that that the officials up there and the police officers had that little regard for the law, where they was violating people's civil rights in front of state officials, in front of elected officials, and nobody up there seemed to care.
Do you think that if an officer is wearing a camera and he's aware that he's wearing and he's aware that it's rolling, do you think that makes them behave differently?
I think it would make some officers behave different. I think some officers would actually forget that they have the video and audio camera on it. But the audio, the video and audio isn't to dictate how the officer acts. It's to actually give dualistic protections. So now the citizen is protected if their rights are violated, and it's the same on law enforcement angle. If they're not violating people's rights, then they have video and they have audio proof. So I think it gives a complete transparency when it comes to interactions between law enforcement and citizens.
I'm sure that before you introduced the legislation last year that you did some research. Is it possible to turn those devices on and off at will?
Well, the piece of legislation I'm actually requiring, yes, it is possible, but then again, that draws extremely a lot of red flags, because if you're interacting with somebody in the public, you would be required, because it's a mandate, to have that video and audio on. If you turn it off, then that clearly shows that you did something against the law by turning off the video and audio, because it's a mandate.
It didn't pass last year. How badly did it not pass?
The problem I had with it last year is that it was an unfunded mandate. So this year I'm going to try two different angles. One angle will be a 1 cent public safety sales tax. The other angle will be working with the local municipalities to utilize fines to actually pay for the video and audio equipment. The law enforcement agencies that read the bill last year, their only issue with it was that I was trying to require the local police departments to pay for it.
And that's tough for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that you'll get support for it? And do you think that Ferguson and what has happened there will make it even easier?
I actually do. I think Ferguson gives us a good platform to actually talk about the issue and to generate public sentiment. When you talk about a 1 cent sales tax, everybody is afraid of sales taxes. But when you talk about protection, nobody I've talked to has an issue with paying an extra penny on sales tax to ensure that all law enforcement agencies have video and audio equipment.
Do you know, you're a Democrat, and there's fewer of you up there in the legislature than ever before in the state's history. Do you think that this is a partisan issue, or do you think this is an easy one to reach across the aisle?
I actually think this is an issue that we can reach across the aisle. Last year when I filed a piece of legislation, I talked to several representatives that used to be in law enforcement. One of the representatives, Representative Hignan, he actually stated that when he used to be a police officer, he would have no problem having video and audio on him because he wasn't doing anything wrong. And he also stated that he believed a lot of law enforcement agencies wouldn't have an issue with it. And again, when I filed the bill, the emails that I received from law enforcement agencies is that they didn't have a problem with the bill. They just was scared of the funding mechanism.
All right.
So I do think this is something we can work across the aisle.
Okay, well, good luck to you. That's all the time we have right now, but we appreciate seeing you.
No, thank you.
All right. That's all the time we have for this edition of Newsmakers.